making headlines. The president announces that the government aims to recover over $843 million owed to the state through various means. The vice president attends the opening ceremony of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. And the Homeland Minister affirms his commitment to addressing homeland security issues in a way that ensures the nation's independence remains unshaken.
Welcome to the English News. I'm your host Malak Ahmad Fayaz. Now for the news in detail. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu announces that the government aims to recover over $843 million owed to the state through various means. He made the statement during his address at the official ceremony marking the 59th Independence Day of the Maldives, held at the Maldives Center for Social Education, MCSE.
Speaking at the ceremony, President Dr. Muizzu outlined the steps and policies his government is implementing to enhance governance. He highlighted that previous administrations have left billions of Maldivian rupiah (MVR) unrecovered, despite these being legally due amounts. He also shared statistics on the outstanding amounts, emphasizing the need for action. Additionally, President Dr. Muizzu said that over $843 million remains unrecovered, including $513 million in land rent, $102 million in TGST, $3.3 billion in GST, and $1 billion in corporate income tax. He also assured the public that recovering these funds is a top priority for the state, which would significantly reduce the fiscal burden. Furthermore, President Dr. Muizzu said that recovering these amounts would alleviate the government's debt issues. He pledged that the current administration would succeed where previous ones had not, even if it means resorting to legal action. He, however, expressed confidence that at least half of the amount could be recovered without such measures. He also said that the recovered funds would be used to ensure economic sovereignty and eliminate debt. Moreover, President Dr. Muizzu committed to recovering money lost through corruption at the Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation, MMPRC. He announced plans to introduce an asset recovery law to reclaim these lost funds. Eradicating corruption, he said, is crucial for strengthening the economy and establishing good governance in the Maldives.
President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu states that the government has not paid any compensation since he took to office. The president made the statement during the official function held to mark the 59th Independence Day of the Maldives.
Taking the podium at the event, President Muizzu highlighted his efforts to protect the country's economic sovereignty. He stressed that his highest responsibility is to ensure the independence of the country and added that the country's economic sovereignty was not certain when he took office. The president stressed that the state's economic agenda is to ensure the country's economic sovereignty. As such, he disclosed that the state has earned $1.2 billion as a revenue by June. He also disclosed that a large amount of this revenue was spent on running the state without printing more money. Highlighting that the state has been spending money based on the revenue it generates, President Muizzu stated that the previous administration paid $156 million as compensation of various names and added that this was done for political gains. Furthermore, President Muizzu expressed gratitude for the governments of China and India for easing the repayments of the loans taken from the countries. He explained that the loan repayment period for $3 million to the Indian government has been extended. He also added that the country has extended the basic food quota for 2 years and facilitated the use of the line of credit. Additionally, President Muizzu noted that China has assured that the Maldives would not have to pay the interest of the loans taken by China's Exim Bank for the next 5 years, and added that the technical work is now underway. President Muizzu disclosed that the UAE government has also assured the country that it will defer the loan for 5 years. The president stressed that the government is working to manage the economy for 5 years by distributing the loans lightly. As such, he noted that the state has paid back $247.6 million without any deferment and without printing money during the last 8 months. He stated that the government is implementing reforms to strengthen the economy and ensure the prosperity of the people.
President Dr. Mohammad Moizu states that the Ministry of Finance will reveal the system in which funds are allocated and provided to the companies. The declaration was made by the President during the ceremony held to mark the Independence Day of the Maldives.
Speaking at the ceremony, President Dr. Moizu emphasized the government's commitment to eliminating corruption and enhancing transparency. The President indicated that although there's a policy regarding fund distribution to companies, public awareness of the process remains insufficient, pointing out that some parties exploit this lack of clarity to gain undue advantages. To address this, he affirmed that a transparent funding system would assist in mitigating these issues. Furthermore, President Dr. Moizu disclosed that the Finance Ministry has been assigned the responsibility of creating a transparent framework for fund allocation and payments. This system will allow ministries and government entities to submit their bills to the Finance Ministry with the knowledge of contractors, thereby preventing corrupt practices. Additionally, President Dr. Moizu underscored the crucial importance of eliminating corruption in order to strengthen the economy and ensure effective governance. He reiterated that the current administration is committed to operating with full transparency.
President Dr. Mohammad Moizu states that the Airbus A330-200 wide-body aircraft of national airline Maldivian will commence flights in November. The President made the statement during the ceremony held to mark the Independence Day of the Maldives.
Island Aviation Services Limited (IASL) signed an agreement with True North Coast Linden Boom to facilitate the national airline with an Airbus A330-200 wide-body aircraft. True North is a company specializing in aircraft leasing to various airlines. Stating that the national airline's first wide-body aircraft flights will commence in November, the President added that this will help increase the number of tourist arrivals to the country. He further added that work to increase direct flights to several destinations is ongoing and noted that direct flights to various parts of China have been arranged within the past 8 months. President Moise reiterated that the addition of a wide-body aircraft to the national airlines fleet is part of his pledges to develop the transport sector of the country. He noted that this is part of the work to commence direct flights over long distances. Managing Director of IASL, Ibrahim Iyas, revealed that the A330-200 aircraft has the ability to travel a distance of 13,000 kilometers directly, which is 3 times greater than that of a narrow-body aircraft. He mentioned that the aircraft is expected to arrive in the last quarter of the year and that initial flight operations will be launched between the Maldives and China. He also expressed his vision of expanding services to European and South African destinations in the future. The new Airbus, scheduled for delivery later this year, will feature 3 classes: business, premium economy and economy, with a total capacity of 264 passengers.
President Dr. Mohammad Moizu announces that the Maldives Industrial Fisheries Company Limited, MIFCO, is seeking an independent foreign expert to enhance its operations. He made the statement during his address at the official ceremony marking the 59th Independence Day of the Maldives.
Speaking at the ceremony, President Dr. Moizu highlighted his commitment to protecting economic sovereignty and highlighted the importance of strengthening the fisheries sector to boost the economy. He also pointed that several government companies had gone bankrupt due to the previous government's economic policies, but his administration has started implementing new economic strategies and is working on reforming these companies. Additionally, President Dr. Moizu noted that significant efforts are being made to reform MIFCO, a key state-owned enterprise SOE. In addition to restructuring MIFCO into a separate entity, substantial progress has been made in its operations. He also said that an external expert is being sought to manage the company's operations. Furthermore, President Dr. Moizu said that he understands the reasons behind the financial struggles of MIFCO. He therefore said that the selected expert will have extensive experience but no prior involvement with the Maldivian fisheries sector. He also noted his commitment to ensuring timely payments to fishermen with a pledge to process payments within 48 hours and confirmed that all outstanding debts to fishermen have been settled. MIFCO was established in 1993 as a government fish company and it has been operating at a loss. The company's primary purpose is to expand the fisheries sector in the Maldives and contribute to the country's economic growth.
Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif attends the opening ceremony of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Vice President Latif's visit was at the invitation of the French government and the International Olympic Committee (IOC). During the opening ceremony, Fatima Timali and Ibadullah Adam had the honor of bearing the national flag. Vice President Latif met with the Maldivian delegation participating in the Olympics on July 25th and is scheduled to attend their respective competitions. He also emphasized the government's commitment to sports development and encouraged the Maldivian athletes. A total of 5 Maldivian athletes are participating in this year's Olympics, marking the highest number of Maldivian participants in Olympic history. Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Hussain affirms his commitment to addressing homeland security issues in a way that ensures the nation's independence remains unshaken. He made the remarks during an exclusive interview on a PSMNEWS program. Speaking to PSMNEWS, Minister Hussain said that he seized the opportunity to become a minister when the new government was formed. As such, he emphasized that the homeland security is one of the most challenging areas in the Maldives. He also warned that if these issues are not resolved swiftly, the country's independence could be at risk. Additionally, Minister Hussain acknowledged that decisions regarding internal affairs cannot satisfy everyone but stressed their importance. He stated that only a minister following directives from President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu can make such decisions. He said that he is prioritizing the most crucial issues as a minister. He also said that with strong determination from a country's leader, success is attainable. Furthermore, Minister Hussain highlighted the importance of loyalty, integrity and service in public institutions. Minister of Diwei Language, Culture and Heritage, Adam Nasir Ibrahim, affirms that President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu is demonstrating dedicated and promising efforts to uphold the nation's independence and sovereignty. The remarks were made by the minister during the official ceremony held to commemorate Independence Day.
Speaking at the ceremony, Minister Adam Nasir recognized that the independence of the nation is the testament of the hard work and dedication of several individuals. Emphasizing that sustaining independence requires significant commitment, the minister noted that President Dr. Muizzu is employing strategic policies to safeguard the nation's sovereignty. He praised the president's efforts and the promising measures implemented to protect the nation's independence. In his address, Minister Adam Nasir shed light on the current situation of Palestine, noting the horrific lifestyle they are enduring. On this stance, the minister reiterated that President Dr. Muizzu and his government will always stand by Palestine, calling for its independence. Since assuming office, President Muizzu has enacted strategic measures to protect the nation's independence. Noteworthy actions include ordering the withdrawal of 76 foreign military personnel, introducing an air ambulance service for emergency medical evacuations, and establishing the first Air Corps of the Maldives National Defense Force, along with deploying 3 UAV drones. These measures have significantly enhanced the nation's military capabilities, particularly for monitoring the coastal region and the Special Economic Zone. The Independence Day of the Maldives is observed annually on July 26, marking the day in 1965 when the Maldives gained independence from British colonial rule, which had begun in 1987. This year marks the 59th anniversary of this significant milestone.
The Ministry of Tourism reveals that the total number of tourist arrivals to the Maldives has reached to 1.1 million, which is a 9.5% increase compared to the tourist arrival during the same period last year.
The daily updates report released by the ministry indicates that tourists' arrival has continued to increase after experiencing a declining rate in the arrival. According to the report, the number of tourist arrivals each month was as follows: 192,385 in January, 217,392 in February, 194,227 in March, 168,366 in April, 119,875 in May, and 123,284 in June, and 120,518 till July 23rd. The statistic shows that the average tourists arriving daily has decreased during May and June. As such, an average of 3,867 tourists visited the Maldives during May, while an average of 4,109 tourists visited daily in June. However, the report indicates that the average daily tourist arrival has increased and is surfacing above 5,000. The report also highlights that Chinese tourists made up the largest portion of arrivals so far this year with 147,241 visitors. Following China, the top sources of tourists include Russia with 120,366 visitors, the United Kingdom with 101,402 arrivals, Italy with 85,014 visitors, and Germany with 84,345 arrivals. On average, tourists are staying in the Maldives for approximately 7 days with an average of 5,240 visitors arriving daily. This consistent influx has motivated the government to set an ambitious target of attracting 2 million tourists by the end of the year. The government reports that it has already achieved 50% of this target within the first 4 months of 2024 and is actively working towards reaching this goal.
Deputy Speaker of the Parliament Ahmad Nazim states that the Parliament is working to recover $999,000 from the state budget as of May.
In a post shared on social media, Deputy Speaker Nazim disclosed that decisions were made to hold the Commissioner General of Taxation, Hassan Zarir, accountable in the Public Account Committee meeting, which is to take place on July 30th. Zarir will appear before the committee to provide details regarding the uncollected revenue by the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA. According to statistics shared by Nazim, the uncollected tax revenue amounts to $499 million, while non-tax revenue stands at $492 million. He underscored the necessity of addressing this issue promptly. Speaking at the official ceremony marking the 59th Independence Day of the Maldives, President Dr. Mohamed Moise reiterated his commitment to fiscal reforms by confirming that state expenses were funded solely by earnings without resorting to printing money. The president stated that recovering these funds could significantly alleviate the fiscal burden. He expressed confidence that at least half of the uncollected revenue could be recovered without legal proceedings, asserting that the government will pursue the recovery of these funds to promote economic growth and ease financial pressures.
U.S. prices increases moderately in June as the declining cost of goods tempered a rise in the cost of services, underscoring an improving inflation environment that could position the Federal Reserve to begin cutting interest rates in September.
The report from the Commerce Department on Friday also showed consumer spending slowed a bit last month. Signs of easing price pressures and a cooling labor market could boost the confidence of Fed officials that inflation is moving towards the U.S. Central Bank's 2% target. The Fed will hold its next policy meeting on July 30th to 31st. The Commerce Department's Bureau of Economic Analysis reported that the Personal Consumption Expenditures (PCE) price index nudged up to 0.1% last month after being unchanged in May. The increase in PCE inflation was in line with economists' expectations. In the 12 months through June, the PCE price index climbed up 2.5%. May's unrounded figure was revised up to 0.127% from the previously reported 0.083%. Core inflation increased at a 2.3% annualized rate in the 3 months through June, sharply slowing from the 2.7 pace in May. The Fed tracks the PCE price measures for monetary policy. Economic growth averaged 2.1% in the first half of this year, compared to 4.2% in the second half of 2023. The Fed has maintained its benchmark overnight interest rate in the current 5.25% to 5.50% range since last July. It has hiked its policy rate by 525 basis points since 2022. Subsidizing inflation and easing labor market conditions have led financial markets to anticipate 3 rate cuts this year, starting in September. Spending last month was driven by a 0.4% rise in services, reflecting increases in housing and utilities, financial services and insurance, healthcare and international travel. With income growth cooling in tandem with a losing labor market, consumer spending is likely to remain moderate. Nonetheless, the pace would probably be sufficient to keep the economy chugging along. Personal income rose 0.2% last month after advancing 0.4% in May. Income at the disposal of households after adjusting for inflation and taxes nudged up 0.1% after rebounding 0.3% in May, leaving consumers to tap into savings and also save less. Wages increased 0.3% after surging 0.6% in May. The previously reported steady rise in the saving rate over the prior months was revised away.
Ismail El-Mayo Zambada, the notorious alleged co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel, pleads not guilty to U.S. drug charges after he was arrested in Texas in an achievement for U.S. law enforcement that could usher in a seismic shift to Mexico's criminal landscape.
At an initial court appearance in Texas courtroom on Friday, Zambada, who is believed to be in his 70s and was in a wheelchair, was read his rights and charges according to a transcript. He waived his rights to be present at an arraignment next Wednesday. He will be required to appear in person at a status conference on Thursday before U.S. District Judge Kathleen Cardone, who will oversee the rest of the case, the records show. Zambada is accused for being one of the most consequential traffickers in Mexico's history, having co-founded the Sinaloa cartel with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. El Chapo was extradited to the U.S. in 2017 and is serving a life sentence in a maximum security prison. Zambada and Joaquin Guzman Lopez, a son of El Chapo, face multiple charges in the United States for allegedly funneling huge quantities of fentanyl and other drugs to U.S. streets. Fentanyl overdoses have surged to become the leading cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. Guzman Lopez, who is in his 30s, is due to appear in court in Chicago next week, according to a U.S. official. The two were detained after landing in a private plane in the El Paso area on Thursday. On Friday, the U.S. President Joe Biden heralded the arrests and vowed to continue combating drug trafficking. U.S. authorities have made drug bosses key targets, frequently striking plea bargain deals with them in exchange for information that leads to the capture of other high-ranking cartel figures. Zambada and El Chapo's sons have had fractious relationships since their father was extradited in 2017, and the arrests of Zambada and Guzman Lopez may trigger instability or even violence in the heartlands in the northern state of Sinaloa. Mexico's defense ministry on Friday said it had sent 200 Special Forces soldiers to Sinaloa to enhance security.
The Paris 2024 Summer Games opens with a rainy parade down the river Seine on Friday evening, July 26th, before the Olympic cauldron was lit and suspended above the French capital from a hot air balloon.
A fleet of barges took the competitors on a 6-kilometer stretch of the river alongside some of Paris' most famous landmarks, as performers entertained spectators watching from the banks of Seine. The Eiffel Tower lit up in red, blue and white on Friday night as the Olympic Games opening ceremony wrapped up, marking the official start of the world-class tournament. Spectators watched the light show on the tower from far and wide, some recording the moment on their phones amid drizzling rain. As the show started 4 hours earlier, a giant plume of blue, white and red smoke resembling the French flag was sent high above a bridge over the Seine as a part of a show that included many postcard-like descriptions of France, including a huge can-can line performed by Moulin Rouge dancers on the banks. Parisians and tourists said they enjoyed the Paris Olympics opening ceremony in the early hours of Saturday, calling it epic and out of this world, despite heavy rainfall during most of the events. The spectators said that the integration of Paris landmarks to the show, along with the surprise performance of the Canadian singer, contributed to make the event so special. While the celebration of French culture, fashion and history was warmly cheered by many of the 300,000 spectators lining the river, hundreds were seen leaving early as the rain fell. It is the first time that an opening ceremony has taken place from outside a stadium, adding to the headaches for vast security operations, just hours after a sabotage attack on the high-speed TGV rail network caused travel chaos across France.
Video game voice actors and motion capture performers calls a strike over failed labor contract. Negotiations focused around AI-related protections for workers, bringing about another work stoppage in Hollywood.
The union said that SAG-AFTRA has called a strike of the interactive media agreement that covers video game performers effective July 26th. The decision follows months of negotiations with major video game companies including Activision Productions, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Take-Two Interactive, Disney Character Voices, and Warner Bros. Discovery's games. The interactive media agreement expired in November 2022 and was being extended on a monthly basis during the talks. In a statement, the union said that although agreements have been reached on many issues important to SAG-AFTRA members, the employers refused to plainly affirm in a clear and enforceable language that they will protect all performers covered by this contract in their AI language. The SAG-AFTRA also represents the film and television actors who went on strike in July last year over concerns of inadequate safeguards against artificial intelligence (AI), putting Hollywood in the midst of two simultaneous work stoppages for the first time in 63 years. Managing Director of Wedbush, Michael Patcher, said that while movie and TV studios negotiated from a unified position and had the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers (AMPTP) negotiating on their behalf, there is no such analogous group in the games industry, so it is highly unlikely that one or more game developers will accept the union's demands. Apart from AI protections, the SAG-AFTRA's most pressing issues is the contract negotiations for video game performers are higher pay, medical treatment, and breaks for motion capture performers. SAG-AFTRA says pay for video game performers has not kept pace with inflation. It is also pursuing more protections for the motion capture performers who wear markers or sensors on their skin or bodysuit to help game makers create character movements. The offer presented to the SAG-AFTRA features AI protections that include requiring consent and fair compensation to all performers working under the IMA. Still, Wedbush's Patcher said voice actors constitute to a very small portion of the game development costs that average over $80 million, and voice acting makes up only about $500,000 of that.
That's all the news we have for today. Thank you for watching.